Tell me that story again.
Sometimes that site's not very user-friendly.
Jeff Miley out here one day jumped up and down screaming and hollering that he was going to get to the prosecutor before we could, because we told him what he was doing was criminal. So Jeff and I had no clue. We were discussing it. What does that mean? Well, he went down to the prosecutor's office and filed charges against Jeff for aggravated menacing, and they come out and arrested Jeff and threw him in jail for 2 days. And now we can't go to her with what he's doing to us because she won't even talk to us because she's representing him. And
No, it's a prosecuting attorney for Noble County.
Right.
You're a Noble County citizen living here and paying taxes.
Right, and he doesn't even pay his taxes.
No, he hasn't paid it for any of this. The production but she told you that she cannot hear your case against Miley.
She won't even return my phone calls until, she said she couldn't even talk to us until this whole thing with Miley was resolved.
Why?
Because it's a civil matter. That's what everybody keeps telling me.
It's not a civil matter.
We
It's
have
a
criminal activity being done to us, but it's a civil matter. And even the Inspector General tried to tell me on Monday that the ODNR can't do nothing about the civil matter. I said, this isn't a civil matter. This is criminal. We have this guy committing crimes against us. So everybody.
Who was the Noble County? This is the elected prosecutor for Noble County. And what's her name?
Riddle, Kelly Riddle.
And she says that she can't hear your complaints about damages done to you by having your mineral rights taken.
Right.
And the recorder that actually recorded these fraudulent mineral rights, she retired early too. You told me that.
She resigned 2 days after I questioned her about the filing on our deed.
And she resigned early from her job. And what about this new recorder? They don't even want to get into this, all these fraudulent leases?
I questioned Juanita Matheny, the new recorder, about recording fraudulent stamped documents in people's deeds, and she said that as long as it's notarized, she has to record it.
Well,
even though the document was 16 years old and it had a rubber stamp on it, and it was a notarized rubber stamp 16 years after the fact, that's what she told me.
did anybody get hold of that guy that begins, that Quest guy with that transatlantic?
I spoke to Donald Quest, and he told me that it was a fraud, that he never signed any forms to have anything transferred, that Miley just bought the scrap off the wells, and he didn't have any lease assignments. He was supposed to plug them and pull the casings. He was the scrap man and bought scrap. That's all he bought.
But isn't this guy really upset about having all these valuable mineral rights stolen right out from under him and having his signature fraudulently placed with a rubber stamp? Isn't he upset about that? Where's he?
Well, he said that he would come to court and testify in our behalf. So
Okay.
I don't know. This guy also told me that, maybe if we patted his paws, he might tell the truth. He told me initially that if I patted his paws, and I said, it's like this, Mr. Quest, you're the last one on the Form 7, you're liable for the damages on my property, and I won't sue you if you come forward and tell the truth.
There you go. Because
And then I faxed him a copy of that Bob Petraeus.
did you?
To back
Yes.
that up. So now that him and his buddy know that there's people investigating this, and
So
I
now
told
he's.
Paxton today he needs to go get a signed affidavit from him immediately. I want to know what the status was. Did he or didn't he give this guy a lease assignment? You can't get him to give you a direct answer, but he says not. And I believe that he didn't, because they were sold as non-producing wells. So there would be no need for any lease assignment attached to any Form 7s if he just bought scrap.
And that other thing, and then there's casing down in
And I still don't understand how they could even then put retroactive production numbers on these abandoned wells that were fraudulently sold as scrap.
They allowed him to turn production clear back to 1991. That means he didn't have the leases recorded. He went down on August 19, 2011 and recorded on our deed. That means the ODNR allowed him to turn 16 years worth of production on wells that he didn't entitle to, period. He didn't have the leases recorded. It wasn't a valid lease. So now what? Now what about the taxes on that production he didn't pay? And what about the fact that it's fraudulent production because he doesn't have meters anywhere? He doesn't have pooling agreements. He doesn't have utilization agreements with anyone. So
they got this dormant land
it's racketeering.
Yeah, it's. I can't even. This is like what happens in other countries but not here,
This is the
because
United
we're
States
supposed
of
to have
America,
law
and our
enforcement.
constitutional rights are being violated by this mob tactics that this company is using, and they know Mr. Miley's not valid, but they've bought all his acreage and leases. So if they lose one, they could lose them all. So they
Well,
don't.
they're going to have to, because they're not going to get their. You know,
A week after her husband died, the
I.
lawyer convinced her to sign
Okay, let me kind of try to wrap my head around this some more. That Antero is trying to bully you because at first they said you didn't even have your mineral rights. Now you're proving that you do. So now they're coming to you and trying to get you to sign off on them. And even your lawyers said you might as well put it in escrow while this is being sorted out. And of course you don't even want to do that, because if you lose, then there's nobody. The lawyers are going to kind of chase the person who wins. And Jeff Miley has left the area. Now he's down in New Mexico, apparently flipping leases down there. You're saying? Is that the hearsay?
Leases is what I was told.
Okay. And so he got his money. Who else around here has got their money for signing?
August 19, 2000.
The realtor in Seneca Township, the one that had got all the leases together for everyone, he got paid. But those are the only two people that I know of that got their money.
So a lot of your neighbors around here have signed, and they're still not even getting their lease payment, their signature.
Nothing. They have not been paid, and in fact, they won't even tell them what the results of their abstract title work show, because they know. That's where the fraud really comes in. Is if people could afford to have their abstracts done, they'd find out that Miley's not legitimate. And Antero already knows this information. They've done abstracts for years. They're a company. They know his. They know that stamped lease assignment's not going to stand up in court, and they know his papers are a fraud. So when this goes to court, you know, they're only talking to me because it's either shut me up or appease me.
She retired a couple days.
You're not going to do either.
Then are you ever afraid?
Yes, I'm very afraid. We've had all kinds of retaliation. You know, my dog was shot. My son, they put crude oil in his drinking water, and he's got a 1-year-old baby. Where they've run me off the road. I wrecked my car. They chased my sister. A couple weeks ago, Jody came home crying because Jeff Miley, well, it's probably been a month ago, Jeff Miley chased her down 566, and he'd get in front of her, and then he'd go real fast and hit his brakes, and then he'd get behind her and ride her bumper, and then go real fast, and then slam on his brakes. And he messes with you when he sees you. He tries to intimidate you. He wants you to go away, you know. He's a bully. He's like the big bully in the schoolyard.
Oh, we got to get the big bully in the schoolyard, because you know what? Right is right and wrong is wrong, and right always does prevail. Carrie, you know that.
Yeah, I have constitutional rights. I'm
Yeah.
going to exercise them, so they're not going to make me go away.
Yeah, but they're threatening you that you're going to be left out, and that's got to be scary too, because you could use the money like anybody
I'm sure I
else.
could, but you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be happy unless everybody's paid. They can't just pay me off, is what I'm saying. My neighbors don't deserve to be treated this way either. And
Well,
like
and
you
then
said,
if you-
right's right and wrong's wrong. So
And then if you did sign, they would just clear cut everything.
I'd
I
have to
mean,
leave. I'd cry every day.
yeah, well, that's what a
I feel
lot of
like
people are
it's dirty
doing.
money. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I can't take it. It's,
Yeah,
God won't look right on it. It's not right.
yeah.
I have to do the right thing because I believe in that hereafter. You hear me? You know what I'm saying?
Well, from behind back.
So I just
That's
have
what a lot of people are doing to kind of appease their conscience. But I know someone who's sold their mineral rights, and now they can't sell their property.
right.
And so their property was worth $1 million, so they got $1 million for mineral rights, and they're not any farther ahead. In fact, they're a lot worse off because things are happening around them they can't stand to watch. So,
Right.
but then there's a lot of people too, like Barb, that they've been threatened that if they don't, then they're going to drill anyways. And you know that stuff gets in the air and gets in your water when you're right next door to it anyways. And just like this, they come to you just as close as they can, just to make it hard. So you get
Exactly what Teresa
punished.
said
You get
would happen
punished.
too, and she was just right on. She's exactly right. She'd seen it before, so she told me to be careful. You know, we don't understand the seriousness. I guess I'm too naive to be too afraid, and I'm not one you can make go away easily. So,
But it's not for the
you know, they started the tactics in 2011. They started, the ODNR started with their tactics of trying to get us to shut up, and it just didn't work.
You know what is so wrong about this is they're using the fact that people could use the money and that they really, they get all these assurance and they get all these lawyers that's saying, okay, you don't need to have the surface rights and things like that, and they get what they call an ironclad deed, and nobody tells them, not the Farm Bureau, not the Extension Service, everybody else, that wants the money is all saying, well, you might as well because you're going to get unitized anyways, and they threaten you anyways, and you're not going to get the money. And then, these poor people, it's like they can't even hire a lawyer to fight. Because there's no money in fighting, there's only money in signing. So it's like stacked against people. And then they're saying there's jobs and things like that. Well, they're temporary, dirty jobs that'll make you sick, too. So, it's like, I just feel like it's such an exploitation of money to people against people who don't have money. But then these people know how to live off the land and they care about it too.
They're not even going to have that left when this is done. They're going to lose everything. These people don't understand that. At least now we have water. We can heat our home. We have free gas. We're going to lose it all.
Yeah, they're threatening you to use it all. But
we've already lost sheep from the contamination over there off that one well site. So when they're done, I'm going to be dying next. I got it. I'm afraid for
your grandkids.
Even in my life's half over, but I've got babies over there on the hill, that's got a long future ahead of them, and I don't want them poisoned with leukemias, and I work in that every day.
And you have doctors that you work with that are leaving the
area. Are leaving because, they're saying that one doctor moved from Pennsylvania over here, and now he's moving again.
Yeah, because he sees the fracking coming.
Dr. Noor, I work with him every day, and he's leaving. He's said you can't even get them to be honest when they're telling you what's in the fracking fluid. They're not even being honest when they're telling the medical personnel. So,
well, and this industrial fluid's not even tested for humans. They don't even have to test it to use it in this industrial process because it's not supposed to come in contact.
I don't get this, I don't get this. Every other industry is regulated except this industry. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's the worst part that people don't seem to see, is that we're not even protected by the laws that every other industry in the United States has to go by.
I feel like Bush is still in office.
Yeah. Well, no, there's Cheney. It's Halliburton that ran
because they
the whole
were
thing.
all about the oil, and here we go. We're still there, Where's our president?
Yep. Where's our country? Where's our rights? Where's our, what? And the people that are drunk on the money, I have to say, where's their values?
Well, where's their reinvestment back into the community? They asked Mr. Miley if he would, they got a pool in there at Caldwell that they've been trying to open for years for the kids, and they asked him to give money to the Noble County pool in there, and he refused. I said, so at least if they was to give the people money to the people,
like
spend
it
here in the counny, and everyone would
not move to New Mexico and try to, it's like leaving a wake of destruction. I've heard about I was told about someone, look, a butterfly, we hardly see those anymore, about how they, they lease, but that's okay, they're moving to Florida anyways. But then how do you sell your land if you're going to just lease it? It's property values are going down.
I don't get these people. They're not thinking about 10, 20 years from now. Look at these well sites where the last time they came in and drilled. Look at my well sites.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen again. History repeats itself. These sites are going to get abandoned and you're going to be stuck with the poisons just like we are. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're already being poisoned by what was done here before, and now it's going to be even worse going right into Seneca.
Zimmer saying how well they've policed the industry and how they're going to protect you, which is a bunch of lies. I don't know how the man sleeps every night.
No, I don't know how they do either.
I pray for them because I'm afraid they need it.
Yeah, well, you're a little bit more advanced as a person than I am because I just want this to stop and I want justice to be done.
She guilts me into it when I talk to her. Now, Carrie, pray for him so I know that's the right thing to do. We're dealing with Miley. He doesn't believe in God. He's an atheist. So.
Well,
get some enlightenment every day.
People that believe in money, I don't know. It's not gonna. I don't know. Did they find out a way to take it with them? Maybe they found a way to take it with them and buy their way into heaven.
All them Mileys are involved in some way or other. There's 3 brothers there, and I've heard that they're all 3 involved in this oil and gas swindle in Noble County. So.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, birds of a feather flock together. I'm glad to be here with you and the 4-leggeds.
This is beautiful up here, though.
And the standing people
It's as crooked as
with love.
Yeah, right.
So I'm hoping